Okay, on the topic of sparring. So sparring is a funny topic in martial arts. In some styles, they're focused almost entirely on sparring, so it's very much a sort of a sport-based approach. That doesn't suit what I believe in terms of development of the individual. I don't believe that that's an ideal situation. Different people feel differently, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. It's a personal thing. So sparring is very important. It's not to be neglected. And in some styles there's no sparring, and in some styles it's almost all sparring. So in Kempo Jiu-Jitsu there's no sparring, and the reason is that the techniques that we're using are very, very dangerous. However, I feel that if you don't spar, then you miss a huge amount of things in terms of timing and speed and range and reaction, and there's an awful lot of benefit to sparring. But to sparring correctly. So the first thing is we need to spar safely. So what we've done in the club is we've broken it into 4 areas. We've got freestanding, we've got what do you do when you're grabbed, we've got what do you do on the floor, and we've got weapons. Okay, so we teach self-defense from those 4 perspectives, and then we teach the martial arts from those 4 perspectives. And then we want to look at sporting elements within each. So what we've discovered seems to be the biggest gains for the lowest risk is full contact karate style kumite with no strikes to the head, no strikes below the knee or to the knees or lower, and no strikes to the groin. So it's punching, kicking, elbows all to the torso and the upper legs, and sweeps without grabs. Okay, so we found that is the highest percentage, sort of the highest benefits that you can get with the lowest risk of injuries. Now you'll absolutely be bruised, but bruises are not really injuries. It's not the same as broken bones or not being able to work the next day. So that's our freestanding variant. We like the Kyokushin style of sparring. I find is the most of value. Okay. Again, people feel differently about it. That's up to them. Not arguing. I'm not here to debate. I'm here to run a club. Okay. The next level then is Irish collar and elbow wrestling. So I love the judo take on randori. I think it's absolutely excellent. But I want to be aware that judo guys, they often have neck problems and finger problems. And the finger problems are from sort of trying to apply a throw before my grip has been fully applied. And the neck problems is from bad landings. So we found the Irish collar and elbow wrestling, by fixing the grips on the elbow and on the collar, the head doesn't get hit on the floor. And because the grips are fixed, the fingers aren't getting cranked and twisted. So that's our most effective, biggest bang for the buck. The highest benefits with the lowest risk. On the floor then we look at positional grappling before submission grappling. If your positional grappling is very good, submissions are quite easy to apply. If your positional grappling is crap, the submissions aren't going to help you. Okay? And then for the weapons sparring, we like the lightsaber, I find, is probably the most fun, but we do like the Irish stick sparring as well. So we have minimal armor for a lightsaber, and then a little bit more armor for Irish stick. And we find that using those elements gives us the best bang for our buck. So within the kickboxing style then, or within the kumite, the punching and kicking, we need to think a little bit more carefully about how we do it. And again, with all styles of sparring, we need to think about how we do it. So I need to agree with my partner how we're going to have this session. Is this going to be a very fast session? Is this going to be a limited, constraint-based session, where maybe I'm only allowed to use my left hand? Or maybe I'm only allowed to defend, or whatever it may be. How long is this session going to be? We want to agree that before we start. What are the stop points? You know, at what point can we call a halt to it? How do we turn the temperature up? How do we turn the temperature down? Okay? But always, 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 always in sparring, you want to have a goal. And my goal is always going to be to improve. If I'm sparring a student, I want to help them to improve. But I'll also steal a little bit for myself. I'll find out maybe what they're good at and how I can react better to it. Or I'm always working on something. So I never go into a spar with, okay, I'm just going to hit and hope and hopefully it's going to work for me. I'm going to go into this spar with, right, I'm going to look to defend against this technique, or I'm going to pull off this technique, or I'm going to see if I can get this step done, or whatever it may be, okay? So there's always a goal. And that goes for any exercise that you do, no matter what you're doing. You're not just mindlessly going for it. There's a goal, okay? So why do we spar? To sharpen our movements, not to beat our opponents, okay? You're sparring with a training partner, and the way that my karate instructor puts it, which is excellent, is it's like a dance. If we're having a fight, I'm not listening to you. I'm just, You're going to hear what I got to say, whether you like it or not. I'm not going to hear what you've got to say, no matter how hard you say it. Okay? If it's a spar, I talk, I listen. I talk, I listen. Okay? So this is the ideology that we want to carry forward, and this is what we're looking for when we talk about sparring in the club. Thanks, guys.